What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Tran. As usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, look, today we're talking about the WNBA 2026 draft recap because it was good. Now, I gave a prediction, right? So now we got to talk about the recap. I gave my top 10 predictions. Ain't getting not one right, and I was flabbergasted from top to bottom. I'm just like, they could have picked her. They could have picked. Why y'all not pick her? Like, that's why I was looking at the entire time. All right, I was a little hurt. So let's go ahead and talk about the top 10 picks. So that's what I gave prediction wise, only on top 10. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, the draft did take place on April 13th. It was at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the number one pick by the Dallas Wings was Azzi Fudd. I thought it was going to be our fam, but they decided to go with Azzi. The number 2 pick, the Lynx. I thought they were going to go Lauren Betts. They ended up going Olivia Miles. The 3rd pick by the Storm. I thought they were going to go Olivia Miles. They ended up getting our fam. The Mystics. I thought they were going to get Azzi Fudd. They got Lauren Betts. Like, my top 1 through 4 were just a little bit out of order, but they were all there, though. Like, I called the top 4 without question. So I guess kudos on that, right? Close. It's too bad we're not playing horseshoes. The 5th pick by the Sky. I thought it was going to go Flau'jae Johnson. You know what I'm saying? She reminded me of Kalia Copper. They went with Gabrielle Jaquez, right? Jaime Jaquez's younger sister, who also made a name for herself in the championship game for UCLA. The Toronto Tempo, the expansion team, the new team. I thought they might have gone with someone like Gianna Neepkins. They ended up going with her teammate, Kiki Rice. The Portland Fire, again, another expansion team, another new team. I thought they were going to go with Kiki Rice. They went with Ayana Martin-Carrion. The Golden State Valkyries. I thought they were going to go with Gabriela Jaquez. They went with Flau'jae Johnson. Fun fact, the Sky and the Valkyries both flip-flopped in terms of who I projected them to get. But I thought that was pretty funny. That was the closest I got to getting one right, to be clear. You could talk about the top 4, but yeah. The Mystics, I thought they were going to get Nell. They ended up getting Angela Dugalich. And then the Fever, I think as I was listening back, I don't know if I actually gave a pick for the Fever, because they could have gone a myriad of directions. They ended up going Raven Johnson, end of day. And don't get me wrong, all these teams drafting the players that they drafted, I understood. Like, I minus maybe the Mystics and the Fever at 9 and 10. I gave reasons why I thought each player or specific players could have gotten drafted there. Like, let's say, for example, the Sky. I did mention Gabriela Jaquez in that possibility. For the Tempo, I did mention Kiki Rice as a possibility. For the Wings, I mentioned the Azzi Fudd as a possibility. When I was looking at these teams, though, this was before some of the trades had occurred, I felt like this might have been the direction that they could have gone. For example, let's talk about the Storm, right? I thought the Storm them getting Olivia Miles would have been wonderful to pair alongside Skylar Diggins and Nneka Ogwumike, but they pieced on out. So I get why they kind of went our fam. All right. Now let's talk about here the top 10. Well, who are my best team selections? Now keep in mind, I'm basing this off of round 1, 2, and 3, right? Matter of fact, we might even talk about the top winner in each round. They may overlap a little bit, these conversations. But off the break, the Washington Mystics did a wonderful job. Like, they hit all the check boxes that were needed, ladies and gentlemen, okay? They got Lauren Betts, who's 6'7". Shout out to the kids who brought that up, right? But they got Lauren Betts, dynamic, dominant force in the paint. And to pair her with someone like a Shakira Alston and a Kiki Iriefan, they could boast a starting lineup where their small forward is like, 6'3"? Then you got Shakira, who about 6'4", and then Lauren at 6'7". That's kind of disgusting work. And keep in mind, they got quality rim protection. They got good rebounders. All three can shoot at least somewhat decently. Kiki got the best three-point stroke. But then you also got a Sonia Citron, who on the wing. The Mystics looking nice just with the Lauren Betts acquisition alone. Then you got to look at players like Rory Harmon, because they need a point guard. for the future currently. And right now they got players like a Georgia Moore who missed last season due to an injury. And that's where Rory Harmon comes in. Because if y'all paid attention to her game on Texas, I ain't gonna lie, Texas had a shot at being in the big dance. Like they had a shot at winning it all, ladies and gentlemen. And I thought Rory played a phenomenal game. Her defense stood out, her playmaking stood out, her scoring looked pretty solid, especially in the mid-range. So again, they got a wonderful point guard to, at least at minimum, challenge their current one, Georgia Moore. And then you got Cody McMannon, who, off her build, she looks like she can be quite a dominant force as a wing. I'm not talking about an all-star, all-WNBA. I'm talking about a quality force that you're going to have to throw out there to guard other players. And then if she's attacking downhill, that'll be lovely to see too. But her playing alongside Sonia Citrone as their wing defenders, as their wing presence, I think the Mystics did a wonderful job, especially because they already got Sonia as the future wing player. So if Cody can actually move up in production, I think they have something. Also, Angela Dugalich, what's she about, 6'3", 6'5", and can space the floor out? If she's able to replace Stephanie Dolson, yes, you'll lose some veteran experience for sure. But the production that you're getting, well, again, Angela's already played on a championship level. She was on UCLA's team when they won it with Lauren Betts. So she has some experience. I like what the Mystics have done. Over the last 2 seasons, ladies and gentlemen, the Mystics have really gone for the gold here. And we're going to see how well this team performs over the next couple of seasons, because they could be viewed as you know how the OKC Thunder have been building up their team? We could be talking about the Mystics in that same breath. We could be, but you got to be a little patient to see how that actually turns out. But I really love what the Mystics did. I loved what the Seattle Storm did as well, too. But to be clear, the Mystics did have the best team selections to the point that they won round 1 and round 3 for me in the draft. Round 2 was kind of a jump ball. Multiple teams did well, but round 1 and 3, they got the job done. Now, the Storm, they're number 2 for me because they ended up getting, all right, for starters, I have a gripe with my Sparks right now because we could have gotten both Dominique Malonga and Alwa Pham. And when I'm looking at both of them, they're talking about 6'6" and 6'4", tremendous potential. I think Dominique's maybe 20, Alwa's 19. Like, they're young for their age in the WNBA, and they were producing. Dominique had a good showcasing just last season. And Alwa Pham is supposed to be one of the next prospects, to the point that I actually think she might be the best player in this draft. And the only reason why I don't put the Storm number 1 in terms of the best team selections is because the Mystics did just that phenomenal. On paper, we'll see what they look like on the floor, but on paper, looks phenomenal. But drafting Alwa Pham, I am curious how she pairs with Dominique Malonga and Azzi Fudd. Because again, like I talked about the Mystics, they could boast players 6'3", 6'4", and 6'6". The Seattle Storm can do the same exact thing. And their players are younger. So I got to look and see, how do the Storm manage these 3? Because if I'm them, I want to keep all of them personally. And not to mention adding players like Flau'jae Johnson and Tiana Meyer. Could this be the backcourt of the future? Because Tiana actually did really well. Mind you, if you think I'm biased because I'm a Duke fan, I hear it. But Tiana did her thing. In this March Madness, she was smooth. Defense on lock, mid-range specialist. She can get an assist. Quality bucket getter. But Flau'jae Johnson, star in the making. Like, she gives me Collier Copper vibes. Hence why I thought Chicago Sky were going to take her. But the Storm, getting these 3, pairing them with the Azzi and with the Dominique, I am very curious to see how the team goes forward, because over the next 2-3 seasons, we're going to see what the Storm look like. Are they going to be contenders or are they going to be pretenders? And I think this young team is going to show us a lot over the next couple seasons. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Seattle Storm do, but that's why they're number 2 for me. The Lynx, number 3, easy peasy lemon squeezy, because they ended up getting Olivia Miles. which pairing her with someone like Napheesa Collier, look, they already have their one option. Could Olivia Miles be the second best option on the championship team? We'll see. But guess what? They also have Kayla McBride. And keep in mind, too, they had Courtney Williams, who was an all-star last year, but I also thought was best served as a sixth woman of the year. Well, now because you get Olivia Miles, if Olivia Miles is playing well to the point that you can move Courtney Williams to the bench, all right, that'd be great. Keep in mind, I'm mad that they lost Napheesa Heidemann. Because imagine if you could have Courtney Williams and Napheesa Heidemann coming off the bench. The stud buds coming off the bench, that would have been phenomenal. They would have had a second unit like none other. And now you got Olivia Miles paired up with Kayla McBride, paired up with Napheesa Collier and company. And keep in mind, Olivia Miles is a quality all-around player. She can get a bucket, she can get an assist, and she can defend. I love that match. So, again, the top three teams for me. Mystics, number 1. Storm, number 2. Lynx, number 3. Now, my most polarizing team selection, I think it's got to be the first one with Azzi Fudd and the Dallas Wings. Hear me out. Again, I get why the Wings go a guard here. I get why they didn't take Olivia Miles because you already got Paige as your point guard. I wouldn't want Paige really to be my 2 guard. And keep in mind, for the time being, have Arike Agumbawale. We'll see if she gets traded like I've been thinking she'll get traded ever since they drafted Paige. But the reason why I thought this was a little polarizing, this would be a little controversial. While on one hand, we have players who have been in a relationship before in the WNBA, I do wonder how this ultimately pans out. Keep in mind, we just saw Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe end up breaking up, right? Unfortunate. And on the same side, we see Alyssa Thomas still married to DeWanna Bonner. So, ladies and gentlemen, it can work out. I'm just saying it's a little controversial. And given that they have had success at UConn, that gives you a little optimism. But, ladies and gentlemen, I still thought that was a little controversial. Because, again, if it blows up, what happens if they do have a little tiff between the two? Would that hurt the locker room? Would that hurt the organization? Would one of them want to get traded? If so, who ultimately gets traded? That's what I'm waiting to see. But also, too, was Azzi, in fact, the best player? Or did we make this pick solely for Paige Beckers? I'm curious. So that's why I say it's the most controversial team selection. But ladies and gentlemen, overall, I was excited to see this draft for the WNBA. And it's excited me to watch the upcoming WNBA season. So I now get to talk about here, not on this episode, it'll be another one. But I get to talk about which teams are going to be getting a bucket more so than the other, or which team is going to stop the others from getting a bucket. Maybe I'll talk about which team is going to assist their players more in getting a bucket. We got to find out. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what I do know is that all the ladies in the WNBA are fit to try to get a bucket. So that does conclude the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. So I please hope you make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone who's anyone, one, about the WNBA, but two, about my show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. I hope you're all having a good one. Take care.